I'm so sorry. I like completely blanked. It's great to be here. My name is Kylie.
All right.
I forgot what he said. Okay, I'm gonna get it this time.
Callie, I can't stop laughing. You so...
Wow.
That's not true. It's chapter 8.
Hey guys, we're back. It's a beautiful day outside. My name is Kylie, and I'm so glad to be here with you guys. I agree. It's great to be out of the house and be here helping to greet those of you watching today and to introduce today's speakers. Today we have Truman and Ashley Butler speaking on Romans 8:31-39.
You know, they sent in some interesting facts about themselves.
Let's hear them.
So Truman came to California to pursue a career in entertainment, and he used to have hair below his shoulder blades. He also dropped out of college 3 times before he finished it.
And Ashley lived on the beach for 3 years while in college. She learned how to surf there, but she was scared off by a seal popping his head up in the water near her. She got married, graduated college, and then moved to New Orleans and had a baby, all within a year. And she's also a trained singer.
Let's hear what they have to say.
Hey everyone. For those of you who don't know us, we're former members of Orchard Community Church. My name is Truman.
And I'm Ashley.
And our text of study today is going to be Romans chapter 8, verses 18 through 30. Now, I'm not going to read the entire passage. I'll leave that for you to do. But I want to use this time to highlight 2 key points that I think that the Apostle Paul is trying to communicate to us. Before we do that, though, let's ground this in the bigger narrative, because there's a part of our origin that's important as context to understanding what Paul is talking about.
Okay.
In the beginning, we know that God created everything that we see in the universe, that we consider to be the universe. And at the conclusion of this process, he designated some special creatures to cultivate the planet through a covenantal partnership with himself.
So wait, by cultivate you mean to create a culture? To build a culture?
Yep. NASB uses that term cultivate, and I like it because that's exactly what we were designed to do, to create a culture by subduing the planet and ruling over the rest of life. And we had much freedom to do it. One expectation, that we operate out of God's wisdom and not our own.
Okay.
But what happens next?
Well, humans decide to go their own way, and they break that relationship.
Yep. So they break the covenantal partnership relationship. What were some consequences of that?
Right? God has to separate himself from us. We're now separated from God. And then the second one would be that we are going to experience a life of hardships and sufferings.
Yep. So there was a spiritual exile, and we became subjugated to a lot of hardships. Now, those 2 consequences are important to remember when it comes to this passage of study. Okay? Spiritual exile, separation from God, and being subjugated to many hardships within this world. Now, Ashley, what do we know about the first one?
Well, we've actually been reconciled to God through Jesus Christ.
Yep. So the first one's rectified. Now through the ministry, we actually have communion with God again. Through the ministry of the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. We are reconciled with God. But what about that second one?
I don't know about you guys, but I still got problems.
Yep. So the redemption of our body, our resurrected body that we always talked about, or the regeneration of creation in total, we still haven't attained to that yet. Can you think of some examples of how we still feel that today?
Yeah, my first thought goes to broken relationships, divorce, famine, disease, and especially our current situation, a global pandemic.
Yeah, it's interesting because you touched on the world part, but there's also the idea that we still share a world with people who are still operating out of their own wisdom. Mm-hmm. So that divisiveness. We look forward to a completely regenerated world with completely redeemed people, mm-hmm. Right? So now let's fast forward. we have a member. You want to join us? You got to be quiet. You want to go finish watching TV? No? All right. Look into the camera and smile. All right, so moving forward, we have Paul giving us two pieces of encouragement.
Okay.
All right, the first one, you want to try with
It's
him?
fine, go ahead.
All right, the first one is that our present condition is no match for our future condition. The negativity of now doesn't hold a candle to the glory of the future. That's one thing that Paul is highlighting.
Okay.
Think about it. I like the analogy of the cave, not divers, but the Thai soccer team
Mhm.
that went through the cave.
Mhm.
Now, can you imagine the terror of sitting and just waiting in a cave where the water is rising up and it's complete darkness? You can't see a thing.
Right.
The absolute terror. But when the Navy SEALs came and rescued them out of there, the freedom and the life that they experienced after that was no match to what they experienced before. In fact, when I look at pictures on the internet, there's pictures of them smiling, and they spend a lot of time talking about how they grew from that, how I've learned to be more patient, how I've learned to be more careful, how I've learned to try to live life to the fullest. And that's a great analogy also, because in the context of this study, Paul is talking about how the purpose of this is being conformed to the image of Christ. And just like their character is improved by it, our character will be improved by these hardships. So this leads me to my second point.
Okay.
The second one is that we have an advocate.
Who's
that
the advocate?
Your
No,
turn.
seriously, who's the advocate?
Your turn.
Okay, the advocate is a spirit.
Yep. So now we have we have the advocacy, the ministry of the Holy Spirit.
Hot?
You hot?
No, mommy's hot.
We're all hot. We have the ministry of the Holy Spirit that when we groan, it identifies with that groaning. In fact, in the scriptures it says that the Holy Spirit sometimes groans on our behalf because we don't know how to express them in words. And so when we're going through these weaknesses, these hardships, God is orchestrating it all for our conformity to the image of Christ, which explains the popular Romans 8:28 verse that Lecrae made a song out of. Do you know that verse by heart?
He will work together everything for our good. I totally botched it. Everything works together for the good of those who love God, who have been called according to his purpose.
Exactly.
There we go.
So again, we have an advocate through this period. So these hardships are no longer working against us. They're now working in our favor. Through these hardships, we become conformed to the image of Christ. So again, I just want to highlight those two things again. First and foremost, let's not dwell on the present sufferings, knowing that the future glory far outweighs it. We can view these sufferings right now as virtually nothing. And then the second one, we need to remain comforted in the fact that we have an advocate, namely the Holy Spirit, who's operating on our behalf.
It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. If you want to comment and reach out to us and share what you think, we'd like to hear that. You want to share our email?
Yeah. Our email address is trumanandashley@gmail.com. So Truman, TRUMAN, and AND, Ashley, ASHLEY, @gmail.com.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. And who knows, maybe we can do a virtual chat.
Sounds good. Take care.
Take care, everyone.
That was great. What did you think of it, Elisa?
I loved getting to see them. I think that their explanation on the text was insightful and helpful. I like how Truman explained that our hardships actually work for us and help us to become conformed to the image of Christ.
Yeah, I loved how their kid came in and wanted to be a part of it. But I really think that they explained the whole reconnecting with God and the troubles in our faith and how it can be hard, but we need to stick to what we believe in.
For me, I think the application would be to not focus on the negatives and try to find the positives in my situation and see how they may be helping me grow in my faith.
I agree with that. I would say for me, it's probably just trying to find what God has planned for me and not focusing on all the bad that's going on.
Well, that's all we have for today. Don't forget to sign up for the weekly text message reminders. In fact, why don't you respond to the text you got this morning what your favorite part of the lesson was? If you haven't joined already, you can text @OrchardSTU to this number, and then you can respond what your favorite part of the lesson was.
Well, we'll see you on our Monday Zooms or our Thursday Zooms. Have a great day.